What's the Word, Harrisburg? My name is Matt Maisel, and today's edition of What's the Word, Harrisburg is really interesting, really intriguing, and really important, especially if you are involved with Medicaid or CHIP. Our guest right now is the Vice President of Mission Effectiveness and Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at UPMC, Tina Nixon. Thank you so much for joining us at WHBG.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So you're kind of busy right now because on April 1st, Medicaid, as we've known it for the last 3 years since the pandemic started, will be different in the sense that it's going back to what it was pre-pandemic. You're not going to be re-enrolled automatically anymore, correct?
Absolutely. Individuals will have to go and re-enroll themselves into and see if they qualify into Medicaid and the CHIP program. And it's not so much I'm busy. I am busy, but my team is very busy trying to make sure we're getting the word out to individuals that need to hear this. The recent study showed that 64% of Americans don't know about this re-enrollment that's coming up. So the article I just read said, let's keep talking about it. Let's keep saying it. Let's make sure people have the tools they need to re-enroll until someone tells us to shut up.
And we're going to say this a lot over the course of this conversation, that as of April 1st, Medicaid will no longer, Medicaid and CHIP in Pennsylvania, nationwide, but in Pennsylvania, will not be an automatic enrollment.
It will not be automatic enrollment.
So you will have to do this yourself the way you did it pre-pandemic.
Well, actually, there are folks out there to help you. The state has a hotline. The state has multiple resources to help individuals do that. I know at UPMC we have enrollment specialists that will help you re-enroll. So my whole purpose here is to say there is help available to individuals that need that help to navigate the system to get them re-enrolled in insurance.
You mentioned how many people kind of have may not be aware of that this is happening. When you consider, I read something today that according to the Kaiser Family Foundation, Medicaid CHIP enrollment grew as high as 91.3 million people nationwide as of October.
Absolutely.
Which is up, I want to say like 28% since what it was before the pandemic started. So that's a lot of people who over the course of 3 years maybe signed up for Medicaid back in the early stages of the pandemic and then forgot that they had it or aren't aware necessarily that it is you are going to have to re-enroll coming up in a few weeks.
Absolutely. And, it's something that, all of us do every year. Those, of us that are employed, we have to look at our employer's insurance packet. We have to look at, what they're offering and re-enroll if there's any changes.
Sure.
So, again, this is people have to look at, if they qualify, if they don't qualify, what they qualify for. That's why the Compass website will help you navigate those things, as well as insurance enrollment folks will.
Where can individuals go to start that re-enrollment process?
Actually, to the Department of Health and Human Services have that information on their website. We are rolling out information and links where people can go throughout our system. And I'm sure all the healthcare systems within our area are talking about this and how we can best serve our patient population. I know if you are a UPMC patient, we will have information on site in our medical offices. And actually, we will have folks there to help assist if you come in and for some reason you didn't get the letter. Everyone should get a letter stating that they have to re-enroll. And so, again, the state has a website that you can go to, as well as other resources when you go to your primary care or your pediatrician's office.
If you don't re-enroll by April 1st, are you just completely out of luck at that point, or do you still have time to... I mean, I guess if people see this now, it takes a long time for things to process and things like that. what's going to happen if you fill this out before April 1st, but it doesn't necessarily go through on April 1st?
Oh, it's not one of those things where April 1st everyone's cut off.
Okay.
It's like you'll go there. There will be time. You will have an opportunity to re-enroll throughout the month of April. This probably transition will be going on for almost a year, I'm told.
Okay.
And when I talk to my enrollment specialist, because we know some folks, may fall through the cracks. So we will make sure that it's not that you're cut off and you can't re-enroll again. Sometimes the deadlines are the deadlines, but we will make sure that folks get enrolled after April 1st.
And when you're talking about healthcare, what happens if you're not available, you're not eligible for medical assistance anymore?
If you're not eligible for medical assistance, I mentioned our insurance enrollment specialists. They will help you navigate to see what you are eligible for. And so they have a website that you can go to. All the insurance providers are there. There are different packages for different individuals that meet your needs so that you may be able to go in and pick and choose.
It feels like when you're talking about ending something that has been around since the start of the pandemic, in this case, Medicaid automatic enrollment. It feels like this is a big kind of moment that we're talking about here. I mean, this pandemic, we're still technically in a pandemic. It has not been reduced to endemic status. But does this feel to you and those who work in the medical field like this is kind of like a bit of a seismic moment, that kind of a point of demarcation that, hey, we're just about at the end of this. If we're rolling back automatic enrollment on Medicaid, we have to feel like we're in the right direction at the very least?
Yeah, I think we're moving in the right direction. I think I have a sense of urgency simply from what I do at UPMC is, my responsibility is to access to care, to serve the most vulnerable. So I probably have more of a sense of we need to get this done now than some other folks saying, oh, we have time. And I think as it relates to the pandemic, yes, it's like the light is at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. It's starting to shine. We're starting to move back towards some, I would say, I don't want to say normalcy, but that's the only word I can use, some normalcy in the ways that we conduct business in healthcare.
Well, we know that COVID over the course of the last 3 years, and it's weird. I mean, we're talking about this almost 3 years to the day that everything shut down. You and I are having this conversation on March 15th. Someone may see this in March 21st or March 31st for that matter.
Right.
But you and I are having this conversation on March 15th, 2023, almost 3 years to the day that the world stopped and things ceased to exist as we knew them before. And we also would come to find out that COVID would disproportionately impact minority communities, people of color, areas that you specialize in. How has the last, do you get a chance to kind of look back over the last 3 years and the challenges that you have faced in your field and what kind of this means moving forward and with letting people know about Medicaid enrollment, because this kind of falls into your wheelhouse of what you need to do when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion?
So I'm going to say, first of all, the world didn't stop for healthcare. The world sped up.
Yeah.
Yes, it sped up. So when I look back over the past 3 years and what we were able to accomplish in addressing health disparities, especially in community of colors, I have to say we have a tremendous team that stood up clinics that went into homes to provide our elderly with vaccines and testing. We had individuals so dedicated that went above and beyond the call of duty to take care of those who really needed to be taken care of. I'll just share a little story with you.
Absolutely.
When, the pandemic started and then we finally got the vaccine and everyone knew there was rumors and myths about communities of color not wanting the vaccine. Reverend Dr. Brenda Knowlton and I were challenged with standing up a clinic for our faith community. And the person that was, organizing the clinic, she said we had 300 slots. Do you think we can get 300 people from our churches throughout Harrisburg to this vaccine clinic? And Brenda and I said, we're gonna try. And so we started calling our faith leaders and, members of different churches and saying, hey, we have this clinic. This was a Thursday. The clinic was on Monday. We have 300 slots. Is anyone interested? By Friday, we had 300 people filled. By Monday, I think they wrote my phone number on every church bathroom wall because I had over 100 messages saying, are you the lady that's giving out the vaccines? When's the next clinic? And that went on for weeks. And I can say, when it comes to looking at where disparities are and where the needs are, our team really went out there. There was a call that came in from a elderly woman. She was 101 or 2. Her son was 90. She was homebound. They wanted to get her a vaccine. My team went down and not only provided one, because it's a 2-part series, but went back and did it. We did that several times throughout our community. We set up vaccine clinics at churches. We had our vaccine clinics at HAC and out at our community general hospital. But we were trying to really meet people where they are, especially knowing the challenges that some community colors have with transportation. So we were able to go through, not only in Harrisburg, throughout our region, and establish these clinics, which I think is our mission in addressing those health inequities.
I mean, God willing, we never get to experience what we experience, in your case, especially those in the field of healthcare, had to experience those first couple months of the pandemic when everything was just, you said speed up. I mean, we're talking about speeding up the likes of which we have not seen in the modern era, and God willing, we never have to experience something like that again. What did you learn though from those moments that you use today in the way you address these issues?
I've learned that teamwork makes the dream work. So, everyone coming together, one of the things I always say, when it's all hands on deck, it's everyone. And I am not a healthcare provider. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse, nor do I want to be, but I work in the healthcare system. And when you talk about all hands on deck, we had our administrators. I was just out at, we went in to help clean and help support our hospital staff because that's what was needed. Feeding, some people couldn't really go home, so we had to establish homes here close to the hospital. You hear those stories about people not wanting to go home to their families, so we had to really think outside the box of how we support our staff, how we help just taking some time off. Right now, because of the pandemic, and one thing I learned, very stressful for our medical providers. And when I first started this position 8 years ago, I read an article that said in 2025, there's going to be a void in healthcare providers to the tune about 250,000 something providers will be needed. Of course, COVID sped that up.
Yeah.
So right now we're looking at, needing healthcare providers. And how do we go about doing that? We create our workforce pipeline. We get into the schools and say, hey, there's careers in healthcare. If you are interested, we will help you. If you are interested in higher education, we can help support that too. And so it made us look at things a little differently in that we have to grow our own. And how do we go about doing that? Connecting with our community our community organizations that help in other areas, and going out and really looking to find individuals that want careers in healthcare.
As someone that specializes in the field of diversity, equity, and inclusion, what do people of color, minority communities in the city of Harrisburg need more today than anything else?
Access to behavioral health care. That's the first. There are great needs all over, and there's I could list the whole needs, but right now, and what I'm seeing is we really need more behavioral health providers, mental health providers, especially for our teens, our youth. I'm sure you read the articles where the impact of COVID on our young folks, it's traumatic. And so we need individuals that specialize in mental health to help individuals navigate through some of the challenges that they may be having that is a post-pandemic. And I'm going to say, when there's trauma, which some folks really face trauma from the pandemic, either having it their routines disrupted, not being in school, not being able to work, different living environments. So we really need to focus on, I think, as a community, is looking at how we can heal not only the body, but the mind and also the soul.
How do you do that?
You bring people together, you have conversations, you do things that are, because we know we don't have enough behavioral health providers, you do unique things like training your community leaders. There's a mental health first aid training that we will be conducting, and that provides people with the tips and tools they need to help someone that's in crisis. It doesn't make you a mental health provider, it just provides you with the skills to be able to have conversations and maybe de-escalate some things that might be happening with individuals.
I want to kind of key in on something you just said, mental health first aid.
Yes.
I've never heard that phrase before. It makes perfect sense. It's self-explanatory, but I've never heard that phrase before. We all are, many people, I don't want to say we all, but many people are trained in basic first aid. Here is a gauze, here's a bandage, throw some Neosporin on it, and wipe away the cut with a little, dabbing alcohol, rubbing alcohol, whatnot. Mental health first aid. It sounds self-explanatory, but can you go into more detail about what exactly mental health first aid is and how you train the average person that has no experience in being a mental health professional, giving them kind of those basic tools to help people in need?
So mental health first aid is an evidence-based curriculum out of the Mental Health Alliance. It's a national organization. And what it does, the curriculum really goes through step by step, identifying different mental health challenges that individuals may have, helping you recognize some of those challenges, kind of doing role playing so you can see, if someone's decompressing, and then providing you with the tools to have conversations, to offer support, not to diagnose. We don't diagnose. We are there to offer support to that individual as we seek help for them to the specialist. As you know, the waiting list to see some mental health providers could be
months,
6 months or more. And so these individuals will be equipped with tools that they can listen to understand. They can help walk someone through prevention techniques, and or if there's an actual crisis, they will know who to reach out to, how to help the individual. So it's a variety of different segments of education that you go through. It is the first piece of it. It's you have to go through a self-taught, and then you spend a full day in sessions, actually just re-emphasizing the things that you learn in your self-study, and then there's a test at the end before you get your certificate. But I think it's one of many tools that we can use, but it's one that it has shown to be effective.
Are these workshops that currently exist out there for people to sign up, or is this kind of on the way?
Oh, no, we have workshops coming up, and I can send you the list. I will send you a list.
I know I kind of caught you off guard with this, but I'm fascinated because I feel like something like this would be great for teachers in schools, and not just parents. Parents could sign up for it, but it's hard for parents to kind of take time, especially if they're too busy taking care of their kids at home. I feel like, and teachers are parents too. I don't want to kind of misguide that, but I feel like something like this, giving teachers that tool in the tool belt, because they're the ones that spend a lot of times, teachers are around the kids more than their parents are sometimes. And they can see the kids in the school during the day. And if they know how to properly talk to someone who is experiencing something, then like you said, it's just another tool in the tool belt.
Right, right. So, and I'm sure teachers, there's multiple curriculums for teachers as it relates to mental health and mental health first aid. Absolutely, teachers, first responders, folks in healthcare. We are conducting our mental health first aid training. It's virtual and it's for the community at large because we want more community folks to be engaged in addressing this. So anyone can sign up.
That's
and we have a list of dates coming up. I will send them to you. You can list
We'll
them.
put it up on our website. We'll put it
yeah.
up on our social media channels and whatnot.
Absolutely.
We were talking before we kind of got started here about, ways that we can educate the city in terms of health programming. And I kind of want to hear from you. I mean, let's just be a safe space. Let's be honest. Critique us here. What can we be doing better here to let the masses kind of know what's going on in the city when it comes to health-related factors, what you've noticed in the past? Where can we kind of focus ourselves and be introspective here, and what can we do to kind of better health awareness in the city?
Communication, collaboration, what you're doing now. I really think by collaborating and talking to folks and bringing people in, that's how information trickles out to the people that actually need it. We can do a better job when it comes to encouraging fitness and looking at our chronic disease and how we go about that. One of the things that, I'm interested in is, people making appointments and making sure that they get to the appointments and making sure that not only getting to the appointments, but we have a lot of folks in our community where English isn't their first language. So making sure that we have the tools to provide interpreters so that people are not only receiving health care, but are able to understand what they need to do and comply with it. I think we need to do a better job at, just encouraging folks to get out and walk and move and, eat healthy. We have, before the pandemic, there were farmers markets. I know there were farmers markets that were taking place up on Dairy Street and some other spots throughout the city. We have the Broad Street Market here. We used to do things like market bucks, and you were able to use your access card there. Eating healthy and learning how to eat healthy. I know, different ethnicities, cook foods differently, but there's ways that you can do things and cook things that are much healthier. And I say I work for a healthcare system, but I encourage everyone, don't go to the hospital. If you eat right, exercise right, go for your annual checkups. That's important because you don't know. Don't go when you have felt horrible for the past 20, weeks. Make sure you're keeping those appointments and doing the things that you need to do to keep yourself healthy.
Healthcare is the one field I feel like where we don't want to see you, but if we do, we're happy to help.
Absolutely.
We would rather see you once a year, maybe twice. But if you need us, we're here to help. And you are here today, and we're going to wrap this up by where we started. You're here to talk about the importance of making sure everyone knows that by March 31st, April 1st, automatic Medicaid enrollment, Medicaid and CHIP will no longer happen, and you will have to enroll yourself the way we used to do pre-March 2020.
Absolutely. And there's resources available to help you. I will make sure you get the website links so that you're able to put that on social media so folks know where to go. And again, please reach out if you have any questions, any concerns. I want to promote our Healthy Harrisburg initiative because it is Harrisburg and it's folks that live and work in the city. And I'm so excited about it. We are starting our next cohort. People are enrolling. I don't know when this is going to show, but hopefully, people are enrolling. And those are our classes where you have to get an assessment, but we have line dancing, we have yoga, we have African drum dancing, we have step hip hop. We're doing that at Midtown in Harrisburg. We're hoping to have different classes throughout the city, again, building on our community partners. So if anyone's interested in partnering, please.
And when's this taking place?
So the next phase of classes start next week. The assessments are being done. It started on Monday. Today, I think the rest of this week, they will be doing assessments at Midtown. But this was a program for Harrisburg, for residents of Harrisburg, to get moving.
So if we're talking date-wise, we're looking at like March 20th or so that we're going to be kind of starting this.
Yes, our next we do 8-week cohorts, and Monday is the 20th. Yes, Monday starts our next cohort. But this is the week that you have to register and get assessments.
Okay, so we're going to make sure that people get assessments. And where do they go to be assessed?
They go to... I can't think of the address. It's 3rd and Riley.
Okay.
And it's right there on Riley Street. You can enter. It's where the pizza place is. It's behind the pizza place.
Got it.
I think it's like 2436 North 3rd.
3rd and Riley, behind the pizza place.
Yes. I think that's the address, but don't quote me on it.
Got it. And if you have a slice of pizza, you'll work it off.
No, don't have a slice. Go past the pizza place. Sorry, pizza guys. Go past the pizza place, get your assessment first, and then have a slice of pizza.
It is good pizza. I will say that. When we want to promote our businesses in the city.
Yes,
so,
yes.
But we are here to promote good health. We are here to promote letting people know about Medicaid ending or Medicaid automatic enrollment ending on March 31st. And we're here to say thank you to Tina Nixon from UPMC for joining us on What's the Word Harrisburg.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And that is the word Harrisburg. Again, we'll have all this information about Medicaid automatic enrollment ending on our website, harrisburgpa.gov, and everything else that is taking place to keep you healthy and living good in the city of Harrisburg as we enter the spring and summertime. Take care, everyone.